I am a 51-year-old man who had to leave my hometown 13 years ago for work. My wife, Mona, now 48, stayed behind in Texas with our two children, who were then 10 and 8 years old. Over the years, the children have grown up and moved to Houston, living independently. The journey began during the Great Recession, a time when my construction business, passed down from my father, collapsed overnight. My father had passed away, leaving me the responsibility of my mother, two school-going kids, and Mona. When the economy crumbled, so did our finances. I exhausted all our savings and was left with no choice but to move abroad in search of better opportunities. After several attempts in different Asian countries, I finally set up a business in Dubai. It was an uphill battle, but the thought of providing my family with a stable and comfortable life kept me going. However, this decision came at a cost. I couldn't visit home for over a year, and even after that, my visits were only every 5 to 6 months. I wanted to bring Mona and the children to Dubai, but they didn't want to uproot their lives. Time flew by. Last year, our youngest daughter graduated college and started working at her sister's company. During my visit home, I suggested Mona move to Dubai with me, as the children had now moved out. She refused, citing her duty to care for my aging mother. Despite my suggestion that my mother could join us, Mona insisted on staying in Texas, saying she didn't want to leave her comfort zone. I respected her decision, though it saddened me. During my next visit, I told Mona I was planning to wrap up my business in Dubai and return to Texas. To my surprise, she wasn't thrilled. Her reluctance confused and hurt me. She argued that I had worked too hard to build a life abroad and shouldn't give it all up. Her reaction planted seeds of doubt in my mind. When my mother echoed the same concerns out of the blue, I was shocked. I hadn't told anyone about my plans, so it was clear Mona had confided in her. This added to my unease. I decided to stay in Dubai, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Back in Dubai, I distanced myself from Mona. I thought she might notice and ask about the change, but she didn't. Our communication dwindled to transactional exchanges. Weeks turned into months, and the emotional gap widened. Last month, I confronted Mona, asking if she still loved me. She dismissed my concerns, blaming her busyness with household responsibilities and caring for my mother. Her explanation didn't sit well with me. Why wouldn't she want to be with me now that I could finally come home? Suspicion gnawed at me. I began to wonder if there was someone else in her life. Though Mona had been a devoted mother and caregiver, the emotional distance between us was undeniable. Driven by doubt, I planned a surprise visit home. I arrived unannounced, hoping to catch a glimpse of the truth. Mona was shocked but masked her surprise with a forced smile. Over the next few weeks, I observed her closely, searching for answers. Eventually, I discovered the devastating truth. Mona had been in a relationship with another man for 8 years. Worse, my mother knew about it and had supported her. The betrayal from both of them shattered me. Confronting Mona was chaos. She admitted to the affair but insisted it was a way to cope with her loneliness. My mother justified her actions, saying Mona had been there for her in my absence. Their excuses felt hollow against the years of sacrifice I had made for our family. I left that day, packing my belongings and cutting off financial support. Over the next month, I ignored their pleas, focusing instead on my healing. Mona and my mother even tried to manipulate our daughters, but I had already told them the truth. Now, I'm working to rebuild my life. Though the pain of betrayal lingers, I'm determined not to let it define me. Mona and my mother are left to deal with the consequences of their actions. My younger daughter did her best to support me with her limited income, but eventually, it became too overwhelming for her, and she had to step back. Mona, still married to me, couldn't marry her affair partner, so she started pressuring me for a divorce. She's been threatening me with all sorts of legal actions, but honestly, I don't care. I'm out of the country, and I doubt she has the knowledge or resources to pursue a cross-border legal case. Even if she did, the laws here don't penalize a husband for leaving a cheating wife. So, good luck to her and her legal notices. Currently, Mona is working at her affair partner's shop. I have no idea what she's getting in return, money or something else. Her partner doesn't have a stable life either. He lives in a camper and is burdened with an ailing father, making him financially incapable of supporting Mona. As for my mom, there are moments when I feel bad about the way I treated her and think about helping her. But she receives a pension, which should be enough to live on. She made her choices and must face the consequences. While she has apologized for her actions, her apology didn't feel sincere. Maybe one day, when she genuinely repents and my anger subsides, I'll consider mending our relationship. But that day isn't today. Some of you suggested I move on and embrace the vibrant lifestyle Dubai has to offer. While that idea is amusing, the luxurious life seen on social media isn't realistic for everyone. It requires a substantial amount of money, which I'm not willing to spend on that front right now. The laws here are also strict, especially regarding women, and I'm not interested in using someone else to distract myself from my grief. Instead, I've been traveling a lot. So far, I've visited China and Bali, with plans to explore more Asian countries and immerse myself in their cultures. Perhaps I'll start a separate thread to share my travel experiences in detail. Thank you all for the love and support. Honestly, my mom and Mona brought these situations upon themselves. While I sometimes feel conflicted about my love for my mom, I know it won't ever be the same. Love can change. You can care for the person you once knew without accepting the person they've become. For now, I'm focused on going with the flow and embracing my emotions. Thankfully, I have two wonderful kids who love and support me. What do you think about the situation? How would you handle it? And what are your thoughts on someone using loneliness as an excuse for their actions?